But hey, everybody, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the real estate market. I'm all undone. It's been a minute since I've been live. But I want to about the real estate market. I came from an amazing event earlier today talking about the real estate market. An amazing, I don't his name, I don't know his name because I forgot it, forgive me. But he has a PhD in economics and teaches at Drexel University, and he was phenomenal. It was a lot of analytics and a lot of information, but it was very much, he broke it down in a way where it was understandable, and you didn't feel like, an idiot listening to economics. If you know anything about it, it can be very you can get lost in the sauce. It's like accounting, if you will. And that's definitely the example he gave us. I could count it a lot of times because when you get into this analytical side of it, it can get a bit like what? And so the jargon and all that other stuff. But he broke it down in a way that was very understandable, that was very palatable. And so I want to come on, and because it's the last quarter of the year, haven't done an real estate market update or forecast or whatever you want to call it in a bit. And definitely not doing my Tuesday tips at 2 regularly. It's Tuesday tip at 2-ish, y'all. Okay. 2-ish. And so have not been doing them regularly. But I just wanted to hop on and kind of give an update of what's going on. One of the things, I was talking to a colleague of mine. I had an open house on Cliveden. You should be seeing advertisement. Okay. I've been posting about it. I've been giving videos in regards to that particular property. And put this back on here after it fell. I know y'all can hear me all right. Um, and so have been posting about this particular property for a little bit now. And so this market, you just never know. It's a great property. It looks good. It's functional. Some people have had qualms in regards to the main bathroom where, they feel like the sink is in a kind of awkward place. But trust me, I visited another property that was in the area, and it was a lot of awkward things going on with that one. And that one was sitting on the market, and no shade, but sometimes, you when we're as in if you're I'm gonna say as investors, because yes, that is me, will be is me. And so as investors, you want to be practical about what you're doing with these houses, because every person, every homeowner, everyone living anywhere, whether you're renting or you own a home, you want functionality, you want stuff that makes sense. And so sometimes investors can make design choices that can be a little bit confusing and frustrating for the consumer, right? For the buyer, for the renter. And so that can definitely lessen the appeal of a property if you go on and do that. You don't want to do that. Okay. Don't make it less appealing to the consumer. Don't make it less appealing for the tenant or for the buyer. You want to make it functional. You want to make it make sense. And so it's definitely a lesson if you are an investor or looking to invest. If you are one you're a contractor and stuff like that, don't lead people astray. Don't lead them astray. Help them make choices that make sense, not just cost effective choices. There's nothing wrong with being cost effective, but choices that make sense. So a lot of times people will overbuild, or, for example, one particular property, you have a bathroom in every room and no closets. And then the bathroom that you do have, you like this. You'd like this to sit on the toilet. You like this to wash your hands. You like this to take a shower. Like, no one wants that. Okay. So make it make sense. It's better to not have those bathrooms in those rooms, put some closets in there and make it make sense. Or it's better to have the 2-bedroom instead of the 3-bedroom if the 3 bedrooms are going to be shoe boxes. All right. All that to say, I don't want to go off on tangent, but take that. Take that for what I'm giving it to you. So, all that to say is, in this market where it can feel so touch and go in the same area code, you can be in the same area code in Philadelphia, and one house can go and be gone in 2 days, another house can be on the market for 200 days. You just never No. Okay. And so it's so important to understand that in this market, you want to price things right. Hello, listers. Hello, investors. You want to sellers. You want to price things right. Now, I know my frustration with my listing is that it is priced right. It's priced right for what it is, for where it is. It's priced right based on the data, based on the comps, but it's still no bites in. Why is that? Why is that? We're going to do some adjustments. We're going to do some things to, market and do all the things and all that. But because it is a good product, it is good, but what's going on with it? All that to say, in this market is so touch and go. Can be, the expectations that we can have in this market. Some people out here, I was talking to a colleague, it's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. I don't know why any realtor telling you that it's a buyer's market is something up. Inventory has not been inventorying for quite some time. It's been some time. We have been in this market, this seller's market for a while. Okay. A while. Now, is it as crazy as it was during COVID time, and so being able to talk to this economist, right? That's what they call it. Being able to talk to this economist, um, or not talk to him, but listen and glean from him being able to show the trends of what's going on, what we're seeing, what we're feeling as builders, investors, real estate professionals, what we're feeling at whatever real estate profession that you're in the space, what we're feeling in this industry, to be able to actually see the data for it, to hear the language for it, is definitely very helpful. So, what tips do I want to give you? It's the same tips that I be giving y'all. Why these? Where are my Windex? I need some glass cleaner on these glasses. Okay, I'm about to leave them off. What tips do I want to give you? Number one, you cannot wait out interest rates. There is no sign. Now, is it a little sticky tricky out here in this economy? Absolutely. As far as building, looking at builders, new homes, new construction and stuff like that. Is it sticky tricky? Absolutely. Um, are people building as much? No. Tariffs, inflation, all these things, everything that's happening in the government are factors. Okay. But are is there a dip? Is it all these things? Sure. But for people who think it's going to be like 2007, 2008, it is not. It's just not. Okay. Inflation is holding steady. Okay. It's holding steady. The what's that other thing? I forgot. I can't remember. But what determines whether interest rate drop or not is holding steady. Employment rate holding steady. These things, as of right now, the debt that people have on their mortgages and stuff like that, holding steady. What made 2007 2008 so crazy was because people's debt was astronomical, it was ridiculous, right? And so what keeps that debt and people just on the verge of losing their houses outside. Now, if employment, that's different. We're talking about employment. We on a government furlough or shutdown. And so that's different. So if more and more people start losing their job and the unemployment rate goes crazy and all that other stuff, that's different, right? Now that's definitely going to give the impact to people's mortgages. But what made 2007, 2008 so crazy was the fact that people were overextended in the amount that they were borrowing. They were overextended. Okay. And so when by the time 2007, 2008 came, because of all the fraudulent practices of lending places, um, that, what happened. Okay. What happened. And so when people say like it's gonna be like another, 2007, like the crash, no, it's not, because those were some serious extenuating circumstances that have been a lot foolproof, less mass layoffs everywhere. not just in one place or one company or one entity, but everywhere. You start getting mass layoffs everywhere. That will send the economy in flux, send the housing market in flux, because now people are forfeiting on their mortgages in at mass, at large. Okay. So unless that's happening at large, all right, at large, unless we're not going back to malpractices in lending, again, for everybody. It might be some in a certain area in certain places, but malpractice and the things that we have in place keep them from overextending themselves credit wise and in their debt and stuff like that, they're been put in place for a reason. Why am I saying all this? Why am I saying all this? I'm saying this all to say that you need very severe things to happen for interest rate to go down. You need a crazy unemployment. You need the unemployment to go crazy, and or you need people to be defaulting on their mortgages on a consistent high level. Okay? These are things that you need. You need inflation to go crazy. These are things that you need for it to be, oh, let's bring down the interest rate. None of that happened. If things are holding steady, guess what's fitting to hold steady? That interest rate. That interest rate's not going nowhere. Stop trying to look for 2020, 2020, 2022, 2021. Stop trying to look for those interest rates. They're not coming. They're going to hold. And and I always say this too, they are holding steady. For all my newcomers, for all my new people who maybe haven't heard this, it's the first time you're hearing it. The interest rate has reverted back to what it was already on trend to do pre-pandemic, pre-COVID. Okay, it was already trending. By the time COVID hit, we were already trending towards 5%, already up there. So the fact that we're at 6, this is on par to where we should be, because we got a nice good break after 07, 08. Got a nice little break. We got a nice little break for a little bit, and then we went right back to where we were supposed to be. Okay, all that to say. So what's happening? Interest rates are staying the same. Anybody telling you anything different, they lying. They are lying. That's my tip number one. Interest rates are staying the same. And so what happens? You don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and you wait. Now, for those who are maybe second time, third time buyers, it's a little sticky trigger for you unless you had a significant pay raise of some kind. Unless you're just, you're an entrepreneur, your trajectory of being able to earn income has increased substantially or will increase substantially year over year. For you, for many people, let's say maybe people who have been in their house for 5 and 10 years, it probably is not good for you to move anywhere, because you're going to be paying higher interest rate and paying higher interest rate for maybe less house, depending on where you're trying to move. Okay. And so that's the tough spot for some people. That's the tough spot for some people. It's like, well, why would I leave my house when it's nearly paid off or I have a really good interest rate? I'm gonna have the same interest rate or I'm gonna have the same mortgage payment or be paying for more for less house. Of course, we also know one of the things that the economist was saying is how the price of houses is still now, it's steadying. Okay. So we're not doing the astronomical, inflation of housing prices like we were back in 2021, right? But it is starting to steady out as far as affordability of house. But however, it's still hard for most people. Again, and that I'm for first time home buyers, you might have a better bet depending on the situation. But I'm talking about for maybe second or third time home buyers who maybe their income is not steadily going or growing leaps and bounds, and maybe it's slowing down a little bit. Maybe you're older and you're approaching retirement, not quite at retirement, but approaching it. And you're like, well, I can't give my house a 15, 20 years because it's just not going to make any sense unless I want to intentionally downsize. Okay. All that to say, interest rates are holding strong. They're not going nowhere, at least as of right now. Okay. So because the unemployment is not doing something crazy, because the federal whatever thing, that federal thing. It's holding steady, inflation, all these different things so far are holding steady. If those things begin to change, then we're talking about something else. Inventory, hello there. Thanks for joining. Inventory is super duper low. Super duper. That's why when people are like it's a buyer's market, what are you talking about? Now, in certain areas, are you more likely to get a property for maybe a little less than market rate because it's just been on the market for a while and all that stuff? For sure, especially in Philadelphia. The other thing that I found very interesting in learning, I am Danielle J. Mitchell. I am a PA, Pennsylvania, in the US of A, Pennsylvania. I'm a licensed realtor. And so we're talking about real estate today in the US of A, in the States, in specifically PA, and even the, not Tri County, Tri State area, which is Jersey and Delaware and PA. You're from Turkey. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining. And so being able to understand that, and listen, and that was the other thing that economists talked about is how in other countries, no, not the economist, but another gentleman, in other countries, they do real estate so very different. When he said that he was in Dubai and there is not no exclusive listing. So exclusive listing means you sign paperwork with me, you use me as your realtor, and I'm the only one, goodbye, and I'm the only one that can market, list, do all the things with your property. um no, over there they're like, whoever can get it sold first. First come, first serve. It's all up for grab. Multiple people can list your property at multiple prices. And I guess whoever can, secure it wins. Bananas. That's bananas to me. But I digress. So when we're talking about real estate, what we have to understand is that in the real estate streets, you have to be on a consistent lookout for holding fast, free for all, no divs. Exactly, free for all, no divs. Being able to understand that you're not going to win in real estate by just waiting on the sidelines. You have to be able to bend and to move and to shake and to find your way into the space of home ownership, property ownership, and whatever that looks like, right? So you have to learn how to pivot. And that's the main thing, is being able to pivot. So as things are holding steady so far, listen, again, we only know, only God knows what can happen under this administration in these times. But so far, I'm just showing you what are the key indicators. The key indicators are absolutely what is going on with unemployment, what is going on with mortgage defaults, and all those different things. Those are the key indicators. I gotta go now because my kids are home. But that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for joining me for today's and this week's Tuesday tip at 2-ish. And if you're interested in buying or selling, you know what you need to do. Call Danielle. Go to book.djmrealtyco.com. Again, book.djmrealtyco.com. If you're looking to invest wherever you are from, wherever you're watching this from, if you're looking to invest, buy, have a getaway spot, I can help.